Hi there, it's Liddell here, and I have another project for you. We're going to try and use some pages out of Punky Sprouts' Rebel album. So there are pages that are all different sizes, and I have trimmed mine a little because I'm not that rebellious, and we'll see what we can do with these. Okay, let's go. This is my Rebel Sprouts album from Punky Sprouts, the brand. I've changed it just a little. I've added a front and a back cover and made it similar size to the inside, some of the inside pages, just to form some unity. I don't cope too well with too much rebellion, so I've conformed this little Rebel Sprouts album just a little. So this is the beginning of it, and I intend to paint the cover and do some alterations. I've got a really old vintage. I've just played with a bit of the blings on the front there to see how it'll go, and I might just alter this just a bit. I grew up in a 150-year-old hotel. The door handle from the old house, and I thought I'd alter that a little bit and include that in the front of my album. So let's see how it turns out. I'm going to use some texture, it's like texture paste, and I think I will try and put the door handle on with this stuff, see if it holds, if I make it thick enough. Impasto medium is very flexible, so you put it on and it will just bend with the cover. It won't like split off or anything like that. It's really great stuff. I love it. So when you think you've got it thick enough, you can stop. Now it's lovely to embed other things into this. Flip off or anything, and those things they won't move. So perfect for what I'd like to do with this. Now you even just put a little bit of stuff for it to grab in the back. It might help, I don't know. So I'll set my cover aside to dry outside and see how it goes. I'll use the gesso again. And I will paint the background. Now I've got a little book here that I've made, and I've made it just using all the Shimmerz products that I own, and I've made it so that I can pull them out and set them next to each other and see what colours I like the most. So I'm going to use the blings, which when you flick back to the blings, I want to use the gold glimmer, which is this one here, and I'm going to paint the gold glimmer over my vintage door plate. So that's what I'm going to use there. Just has a little bit of gold glimmer when you get it in the light. So I'm going to go over my door plate and see how that looks. These are the colours that I've chosen out of my little book. So I'm using pearl, so pearls, I'm using gold glimmer, which is a blings, I'm using concrete, which is a spritz, I'm using hot fudge, which is a vibes, and I'm using December sky, which is also a blings. So you can see how they all look together there. So I'll set them aside. I'm just going to use some white paint to do the final coat of the background. And you can see that gesso just allows the paint to be opaque and you can't see through it. And sometimes you do only need to have one coat. I think I'll only need one coat with this white. I'm just going over it a little bit more with the gold glimmer. And then I might go over the background with a bit of this pearl. It won't alter the colour, but it'll add a pearly background. Now I'm just adding just a little bit of the concrete spritz, and that has just added just tiny little dots of colour there, just a little bit. And I might, just because it's very subtle, I don't know whether you can see it there, see if I can zoom in instead. You can see it just a bit there. So I'd just like to go a little bit more. So I might try this fudge. Now keep in mind that once everything's dry, if you don't like something, you can just wipe it off. So you can just get a scrap piece and just dab where you don't want it and it will come right up. So you can see there it's just spritzed. I had some of these orange flowers yesterday that they were this colour. I just painted over the top of them with gesso, and the gesso I just did one or 1.5 coats while it was still wet. You can still see some of the colour through, so that'll be pretty, that'll be fine. So I'm going to go over these with December Sky. It's a blings, and on white it's a very pale, pretty blue, so we'll see what it comes up as when, remember we're not working on a total white base with this, so it'll change, it'll alter a little bit.